Netflix dropped the trailer this morning for their upcoming new game show, Squid Game, the Challenge, which is based off of the Korean show that was really popular on Netflix a couple of years ago. And while some people are calling shenanigans on this, and I'll get a little bit more into that in a bit, my opinion is I'm not really sure what the whole point of this is, or at least I don't know if this is going to have the impact that Netflix wants it to have. But before I get into all that, let's jump into this article from Variety talking about it. So Squid Game, the Challenge trailer has 456 real people risking it all for $4.56 million. Netflix sets premiere date. And yeah, this just kind of talks about it premiering November 22nd. So exactly a month from today, which is probably why they dropped the trailer today. Squid Game, the Challenge will see 456 contestants from around the world battle it through various challenges based on the Korean game show and the scripted series, as well as introducing some new games. And I think that's an important thing to have in this, because that was my biggest issue with having an actual live action version of this, because people have seen the show, they know what's going to be coming up next, and part of the challenge for the characters within that show was not knowing what the next game is going to be. By doing something like this where you have a new game thrown in the mix, it can basically ruin people's plans if they're trying to think ahead about what's going to happen next. Like, let's say in the show, they had it, there was a part where it's like you have to select a team for your next challenge. They don't know what the challenge is, so you're not really sure like what type of people to pick. Let's say they have that in this new TV show where they're saying like you have to select a team for your next challenge, and people are thinking like, okay, in the show it was tug of war next, so let's get a bunch of heavy guys on our team so that it's harder to pull our side, which sounds like a good idea. But then you get in there, it's like, oh wait, no, the challenge is actually an obstacle course or something like that. Then that will make things more difficult. And I think that's a good way to keep people on their toes and make things a little bit more interesting as far as the viewer goes. But I'm not sure this will work for Netflix. Well, maybe it will work, because I think the whole purpose of Netflix producing this show is to try to keep publicity around Squid Game and try to keep it trending in the meantime between season 1 and season 2. Because no one really expected season 1 to take off like it did, and I don't think Netflix expected it, and that's why we haven't seen a second season yet. I mean, they renewed it for one, but I think they were trying to renew it for one after the fact because they weren't expecting it to do good. It wasn't something that was already in production. And then the first one succeeded, so they're like, we need to get a second season. And so far, according to TV Guide, I think this was written last week, we don't know when a second season is going to come out. I mean, just sometime in 24. So I think the game show is more or less put in the middle of it just to try to keep it trending a bit. And it also has the added bonus of probably drawing people back to watching the first season again. But when you have a competition like this, you're inevitably going to get people complaining about it. So right now, this article from IndieWire from back in February, former Squid Game, the Challenge contestants claim reality show was rigged, Netflix response update. I'll get to the Netflix update, but first let's just hear what some of the players had to say. A recent report claimed that medics were required on the first day of filming due to -3 degrees Celsius weather, roughly 26 degrees Fahrenheit, with contestants required to remain motionless during the game of red light, green light across over 9 hours, with requirements to stand still in 30-minute increments. Per Rolling Stone, 10 contestants needed medical attention for ailments ranging from a herniated disc, torn knee tendons, pneumonia, and ear infection, and coughing. Okay, 10 contestants needed some of these minor medical attention over about 456 people. I don't think that's really unusual. I mean, there's a reason productions are required to have medical personnel on standby because, yeah, things like this happen. I mean, it's a physical challenge game, so you're going to have certain people get injured, like a herniated disc, torn tendon. I mean, that sucks. Pneumonia. I mean, like, yeah, this kind of stuff does happen, so I can understand why, but I mean, it doesn't seem like it's anything unusual. And this is also what some of the players say. Former players also alleged that the challenge was a fixed game, with Netflix already selecting certain TikTok and Instagram influencers to move forward regardless of outcomes of the challenge. The contestants who applied claimed they were treated like extras in TV show. I mean, I don't know what you mean by treated like extras. I mean, did you mean you didn't get your own trailer? I mean, yeah, there's over 400 of you. I mean, there's really only so much reasonable way you can actually corral that many people. I mean, you can't really get individual people and be like, okay, you go over there, go to the next person, you go over there. I mean, you're going to just be like, okay, this whole crowd over here, move over that way. I mean, so I'm not sure what they mean by treated like extras. I mean, yeah, you kind of are extras because you're just one person in a crowd of over 400 people. And as far as TikTok and Instagram influencers, I'm not sure what they mean by that. They don't really say. I mean, they're just trying to make it seem like, oh, these people are influencers, so they're trying to push them forward. It's like, is it an influencer with like a few thousand followers who has gotten a sponsorship deal on there? I mean, like, yeah, that's broadly what an influencer is. Or is it someone with millions of followers who can really promote this? I mean, if that was the case, I can understand calling shenanigans on it. But what I really think a lot of this stems from is just people who are upset because they didn't win. I mean, I'm sure we've all competed in games with people who are very competitive. If they lose, they'll say they lost, that like someone cheated or the game was rigged or some other way. I mean, and you got 456 people here, so I'm sure there's going to be a few people who are going to complain if they lost over $4.5 million cash prize. But Netflix, their statement was Netflix, Studio Lambert, and The Garden have issued the following statement to IndieWire. We care deeply about the health of our cast and crew and the quality of the show. Any suggestions that the competition is rigged or claims of serious harm to players are simply untrue. We've taken all the appropriate safety precautions, including aftercare for contestants, and an independent adjudicator is overseeing each game to ensure it's fair to everyone. I mean, I think that seems like a canned response to them, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, well, what else can they say? I mean, it's like you didn't have the proper medical care, and the competition is rigged. Netflix like, no, we met the requirements for the industry, and we had people verify, independent people verified that the game is fair. I mean, I don't know what more you can say about this. I mean, but I mean, it really does just seem like sour grapes until I hear more evidence about the fact, even though game shows and reality shows have rigged stuff in the past, and I know that's happened in the past, that I don't really have anything to go by. Maybe when this comes out, I can see it for myself and see other claims but until then, it just seems like people complaining that they lost. But I mean, if you're really excited about this, there's still something that you can see. Mr. Beast has his version of Squid Game, and that's out on YouTube right now. As of this recording, it has over 500 million views on it, and this came out about a year ago. So yeah, I mean, check this one out if you're interested in actually seeing a live action Squid Game. But I mean, if Netflix is expecting the novelty of it, I don't really think they're going to pull the numbers of this one, because the novelty of a live action Squid Game has already been seen by the public a year ago, or no, like 2 years ago, excuse me. So I mean, but this still might serve the purpose for them of promoting their first season and helping promote the second season. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Are you excited to actually see this game show from Netflix, or do you not really care? Are you done with the whole Squid Game thing? I'm curious what people have to say about this. And if you like this video, make sure you click the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.